Are y'all here tonight? What's happening tonight? Maybe some volume. What's happening tonight? I have Deshaun here. We're going to do a little, what we call interpretive art. Where he interprets what I talk about and what I say tonight. So the piece that I'm going to share tonight on such a special occasion is called Thy Kingdom Come. And I'll tell you where it came from. So about 6 weeks ago, I went to work and I had parked illegally this particular day. And this gentleman comes up to me. Y'all got to relax a little bit. Laugh. Interact with me, please. I ain't started yet. Anyway. So this gentleman walks up to me, and I'm rushing to get in the building. And he's like, ma'am, it's an African American guy. And he's like, ma'am, excuse me, are you the lady that bought me these boots? I kind of looked at him like, oh, this is different. We got a different kind of game going on. I ain't never heard this before. You know, I just bought you these boots. And he was like, well, no, I mean, you look just like a lady that got me these boots. But because I got these boots, I got a job. And he's like, so I got this job, I make $17 an hour, and I'm just looking like, okay. But I'm in a hurry. And we was fasting at the time. So, you can really, you can hear it fasting. And I heard the Spirit of God say, angels unaware. Wow. And so, completely changed how I handled him, my interaction with him. So I started engaging him differently. I let him talk. And then he started going on and on about these boots. He got a job. He said he's been clean for over a year because he has this job. Then he starts talking about, and then he said, ma'am, I met God. He was like, my Lord and Savior. And he went on and on. And it's a grown man standing in my face, crying. He's crying. Talking about how grateful he was to have been introduced to Jesus. And I'm listening to him, and now I'm completely enthralled in what he's talking about. So I started encouraging him and how to maintain his deliverance and keep walking that thing out, right? So he was like, well, he didn't ask me for anything, but I was so compelled, I was so moved that I called upstairs to a friend of mine and I was like, listen, are you in the building? You have any cash? I want to put something in his hand. And she was like, no, I ain't got to work yet. And I'm like, are you coming back through here? Because I was moved in that way. And he was like, well, man, no, it's okay. And I said, well, the next time I see you, I promise I'm going to put something in your hand. And he was like, well, I just wanted to tell you thank you if you were the one that got me these boots. So when he walked away, I was moved. I was touched. So when he walked away, I looked at him. And as he's walking, the Spirit of God spoke to me again and said, I just gave you a glimpse of the kingdom. So, when I got upstairs, he said, and at this point, I'm in a place of worship. He said, the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness, the world, and they that dwell therein. And it helped me put in perspective just how vast the kingdom Jesus preached was. That it's not just the walls. I saw how large it was, and I saw how small a part I played. So my prayer became, God, what's my contribution? What's my part? Don't let me die without fulfilling my assignment in the kingdom. So as time went on, my prayer changed, and it became, who is my neighbor? Which is what I almost call this piece was who is my neighbor. And when I say that, I don't mean, he started dealing with me about influence and places of influence. I guess I was waiting on a certain platform to feel like I was influential. And he's like, I've already placed you in places of influence. Everybody. And so, when he started dealing with me about, I started praying like, God, who is my neighbor? And he's like, don't just find out who your neighbor is in name only. Who is your neighbor mean? Who are the people you have proximity to every day? These are your neighbors. Where have I placed you every day? And don't just find out who they are. Find out their culture. Learn about their upbringing and their background. What they like, don't like, their belief system. Engage them and be a light. Amen? Amen. And that's the key.
Amen.
Because God is concerned about your neighbor.
Yes.
Yes,
He
He's
is.
concerned about your neighbor. And so, I'm dedicating this piece in some ways to, his last name was Harris, and I've never seen him again. But all I remember was Harris. It's time you know that he's the type that God is going to raise up and use for his glory. Amen?
Amen.
This piece is called Thy Kingdom Come. They asked him, Master, who's the greatest in the kingdom? Now imagine him laughing, wondering why it even matters. So he answers, the least is the greatest, the servant of all. See, Jesus wasn't dumb. He knew they were so busy trying to be stars that no one wanted to be like the sun. So he called a small child in their midst and said, in order to be great, you have to become like him. Because the children are the mysteries of the kingdom revealed. See, we get so caught up on our own wisdom and theologies, and honestly, fancy preaching didn't move Jesus. He's not impressed by the way you lay text when the body is still so unprotected. Now, to tell you the truth, some of the things the Father does just don't make sense. He puts his lights and darks in the same cycles. He even does his laundry different. He even does his laundry different. See, he called us to be lights in dark places. And let's face it, we don't always know what that means.
Yes.
Sometimes he'll call you to labor next to some animals. That's the nativity scene.
Wow.
That's the nativity scene. See, we don't always get to choose where we birth the miraculous thing. But Jesus' ministry wasn't done within walls. Because if our gospel be hid, it's hid to them that are lost. But religion has us blinded and veiled. And we're so busy, while we're so obsessed with checking our inboxes, people are leaving this world in boxes. What are we doing? And do we care? Because nowadays we treat God like chocolate syrup on Sundays. Add a sprinkle or two, thinking a dab will do. And then we yab a dab will do. But that bedrock you living under, the enemy, I bet he comes in like bam, bam, and we'll be the ones crying out from under the rubble. So tell me, who is my neighbor? It's everyone. And let's address this elephant. Because we're contending in a culture where the church is becoming more irrelevant. We're missing it. We got to get this. And no, God ain't Joe Jackson with his discipline, but y'all, we got to get this switch. Because it's happening. It's changing from religion to kingdom. And it's happening quick. And my prayer today, God, don't allow me to disgrace before I become one. Because whether you're ready or not, thy kingdom come. And to my leaders, be encouraged. The devil doesn't have no tricks. All he does is bring back pain. That's scoliosis. But the neurosurgeon of our souls wanted me to let you know. Hold on. You raised mature sons and daughters. So when you pass the baton, we'll run with the same passion, fervor, authenticity, and love. Happy 26th anniversary, Zion Christian Center. God bless you.